Homeless man's actions after finding a wallet full of cash stun the owner and onlookers. Homelessness is a prevailing issue in our society these days. When we look around the streets, we can see numerous homeless people who do not even have the bare necessities we as humans need. We find it very easy to judge a homeless person we see on the streets, but what we often forget to put into perspective is the reason behind them ending up this way. When this homeless man found a wallet full of money, what he did was something that amazed anyone who had ever heard about it. So we all know that the only thing homeless people can do is to eventually beg. They have no stable source of income, so the option they are left with is to ask people in the streets for money. They use this money to buy food and water that gets them through the day. We all have a presumption about how homeless people are, but this story will definitely open your eyes a little bit more. We all see those homeless people as very pesky and needy people who we deem lazy and inferior to us. They do not have a home or a job, that they are a bane to the society. But there are some homeless people who have become this way because of uncontrollable reasons. This is one story that might be able to bring a tear to your eye because of how touching it is. If you look around when you go out in public, at least 1 or 2 homeless people are bound to sit somewhere in the corner. Since they do not have a shelter to live in, these homeless folks tend to camp out in the most convenient corners that are there on the streets. This story involves a homeless guy who was surfing through the streets in a crowded city. He looked like any other homeless person. He was untidy and was carrying a few bags. The beggar did not have anything except a bag full of clothes and nothing to eat. He was making his way through a very crowded street, minding his own business. There was something different about this man, as he had no plans of begging for money. We often associate homelessness with begging, and to some extent this notion is quite true, as most homeless people tend to beg for either food or money. But we have to remember that sometimes some homeless people are not there to beg for anything. The main guy in this story isn't a beggar and had no intentions of begging for anything. The only thing that this homeless man was looking for was something other than money or food. He was just searching for a quiet place to sleep. He just needed some rest, as it had been a tiring day and all he wanted to do was sleep. But his attention was taken by something he spotted on the ground. What could this be and where did it come from? So when the homeless man was busy looking for a place to sleep, his attention was caught by something weird on the ground. He was not planning on finding anything that day, nor was he looking for anything, but the guy saw something interesting enough to go and take a closer look at it. He was lucky that day because it turns out this was a wallet. And so when he went close to the weird item on the ground, he soon realized that it was a wallet. It was such a lucky day for the guy, as he did not even need to beg for money that day, and without hesitating for a second, he went to pick it up immediately. There was something that was even more shocking inside the wallet as soon as he opened it. The homeless man was trying to find a place where he could get some sound sleep, but along the way, in the midst of the bustling crowd, he found a wallet. After he took them in his hands, he opened to see what the contents were, and to the man's surprise, he found out that the wallet was in fact packed with money. He could not believe his eyes. The homeless man had never seen so much money and was absolutely shocked to find it lying on the ground. It was already surprised to find a wallet on the street, but to know that it was full of cash was something even more shocking for him. He was not sure what he would do with all that money. He was also wondering whether anyone saw him pick the wallet up. If you were a homeless man and you were caught in this position, what do you think you would do? The homeless man was confused as to what he should do with the money. He had not even seen this amount of cash in his entire life, so he was quite puzzled, and during this whole time he could feel his stomach grumbling. The homeless man did not know what he wanted to do with all the money he found in the wallet. It was all a little too overwhelming, and he was not able to comprehend what was happening to him. So what do you think this guy was about to do with the wallet he just picked up from the street? Do you think he would go and get some food to pacify his hunger? We all know that every homeless person is either always dirty because they have not taken a bath in days, or that they are always hungry because of not eating for days. You can always count on these 2 traits when you think of homeless people. The homeless guy was indeed very hungry, as he had not had food in more than 1 day, but he was no thief. Now, although this homeless man was a very hungry guy who obviously needed to fill his stomach, he had his morals set straight. He was not able to just use the money he found in the wallet. This did not belong to him, and so he did not feel right about using the money from the wallet, even though there was a lot. What he decided to do next was truly unbelievable. This guy was definitely an exception to all the other homeless people because of what he did next. Now, instead of taking the money and running away like most homeless people would have done, this guy did not do so. He was not a thief and felt that it would be wrong to use up someone else's money that had not been given to him with consent. So if he did not want to spend the money he found, what did this guy do? Well, the homeless guy decided that it would be best if he just waited for a while. He wanted to make sure the person that lost the money came back to see if their lost wallet was still there. The homeless man knew how important the wallet must have been, so he refused to take anything from it. And so since he did not want to use a single buck from the wallet he found, the homeless man decided to wait for the person who had lost it. He knew for sure that the amount of cash in the wallet was enough to come back and look for. He initially thought of placing the wallet back where he found it, but immediately realized that somebody else might take it. And so the only option this kind-hearted homeless person was left with was to wait it out. He had to just sit back and wait for the person who had lost the wallet to come and claim it. He could not leave the wallet back where it was, as he was sure another homeless person or maybe a local would take the money and run away and not give it back. While he was holding onto the wallet, the homeless man then sneaked another peek into the wallet. He could see that the wallet was full of cash. In fact, it was stuffed with cash, and the homeless man could already guess that the person who lost it must have probably received his monthly salary when he lost it. Imagine how heartbreaking it must have been. From what he could see, the homeless man had a few assumptions. He found so much cash inside the wallet that it led him to believe that the person who lost it had just received their salary. It must have definitely been payday for someone to keep so much cash in their wallet. Hence, it was obvious that the person must want and need their wallet back even more. And so when he found the wallet, the only thing the homeless man could do was to wait. Since he had no means to contact the person who had lost it, he was only left with the option of waiting and waiting. He was hoping and praying that the person showed up so that he could go on with his day. And so the homeless man waited for the entire day, but to no avail. As we said, the wallet contained so much money that would have been devastating for anyone to lose. The homeless guy knew for sure that it was enough for someone to come back searching for it, so he waited near the spot where he found it. He was confident that somebody would have shown up, but no one did. He was so shocked, but decided to wait one more day since he had nothing better to do anyway. And this man was set on finding the person who lost the wallet full of money because he knew in his heart that it was the best thing he could do. He sat on the streets waiting for someone who seemed to be looking for their wallet in that particular lane. This was a very busy street, so there were a lot of people who looked at him like he was in their way, pesky and giving him looks. And since they had no clue that he was there for a reason, a good reason we might add, the people were sending him judgmental looks. The homeless man was not about to change his mind after waiting 2 days now. Although the looks and people made him feel bad, it was not enough to get him to give up. He maintained his patience. After 2 days of having no luck, it would make most of us quit, right? After all, it was not even his money or wallet, so why would he have to wait so long? He was the one hungry and in need of money, but the homeless man was not a thief, and so after 3 days went by, the homeless man still guarded the wallet, putting aside whatever he needed to do. And so after 2 days, finding no one who remotely looked like they were looking for something, the homeless man still stayed. He was waiting for the owner for the 3rd day in a row, and finally he spotted a man who was looking at the ground and seemed to be looking around for something. The homeless man thought this must be the person who lost the wallet. And since he had waited for so long, the homeless man was glad to finally see that the guy who had lost the wallet showed up. The homeless man was smiling to see that it was really him from the identity card which was inside the wallet. He could identify that this man was indeed the owner of the wallet. His patience had finally paid off. And even though the homeless man was happy to see the person who had lost his wallet, he was in for a big surprise. The feeling was certainly not mutual when he stepped up to go and meet the person. Although he was happy that he finally came, it turns out the person who lost the wallet is a very rude person when the homeless man approached him. So when the time came for them to meet, it was far from what the homeless man had anticipated. "Quickly, you filthy beggar, tell me who picked up my wallet. If I find it, I will reward you with $50, said the person who was looking for his wallet. He was certainly not a pleasant man to be acquainted with, especially for a first meeting. And so when the homeless man heard these words coming from the man who had come to look for his lost wallet, he was beyond disappointed. He did not think that the guy would be this unappreciative. He thought there would be smiles and hugs exchanged. He was oh so wrong about it. The homeless guy actually grew a little scared. And so when the guy shouted at the homeless man, he did not want to make it seem as though he was a thief. Since he was holding the wallet, he could have definitely looked like one, so he decided to remain quiet. And sadly, even though the homeless man kept his cool, the rude man once again screamed at him with so many insults. Even though the beggar had waited 3 long days for the guy to show up, he did not show any indication of gratitude. "Hey, smelly beggar, tell me quickly who took the wallet. I need my identity card for some urgent applications. If I find it, I will reward you with $100, shouted the man. And after this, the tension was rising to a point where it got a little scary. So when the person who lost the wallet spoke to the homeless man, he expected him to hand him the wallet right away. There was an air of suspicion in him that was almost tangible. He again shouted at him, which failed to bring out any response from the homeless man, so he proceeded to raise his hand at him. The homeless man could not stand it any longer and said this to him. So when he saw the guy about to get violent, the homeless man explained to him the whole situation. He revealed that he had been waiting for 3 days for the person to come and claim his wallet, that he had guarded it with his life. Everyone who could hear what the homeless man said could not believe what they were hearing, as it was indeed amazing. As soon as he heard about what had really happened, the owner of the wallet felt terrible. He had been so rude to the homeless man and thought so vile of him. He quickly started to apologize for being so mean to him. This would have definitely opened his eyes and be a valuable lesson to him to not judge people based on what they look like. Not every person you meet is a bad person.